Whoops. Why is it all messed up? There we go. Okay. Just waiting for people to turn up. So I'm just sitting here all by myself. Hello, people are starting to turn up. I actually scheduled, I won't start talking yet because there's only one person here, 2 people here. Anyways, I'm just waiting for people to turn up. By the way, while we're waiting, I'd love to hear where you're from. What part of the world are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. So you can either tell me where you're from or the age of your kids or both. Kind of helps me to know. Wildemar, California. Never heard of that. Wildemar. Oh, interesting. Wildemar. I'm going to look that up. Wildemar. 10 months old. Okay, just a baby. Wildemar, California. Near Tamel. Oh, that doesn't help. Wildemar. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, down there. Oh, way over there. Oh, okay. Just looking at Wildemar, California. That's Temecula. Near Temecula. Well, I've never heard of either one of them, but I see them both on there now. Interesting. Oh, it's way down south. I see. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so Chicago area, 14, 11, 5, and 2. Wow, that's a real big split. Kind of nice that you've got older ones that they can babysit, right? Okay, so let's get going with your parenting questions. This Kitchener, Canada, Kitchener, Ontario, that's on YouTube, and 3 and 7 months boys. So you got a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old boy, both boys. Excellent, welcome. Okay, so I'm on Facebook right now, and I'm also on YouTube. And when I look down, I'm reading the YouTube. And the YouTube for the whole 90 minutes is where I keep all these lives. But I'm going to be transferring from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok every half hour. So here's my very first half hour, Facebook. You kind of get the best of me when my voice is at its best. So I start to get a little bit tired after a while. Okay, New Jersey. Is that New Jersey? 11 and 7, 7-year-old boy. Okay, excellent. Franklin, Tennessee, 3 and 2-year-old. Excellent. Okay, so let's get going with you're from British Columbia, Canada. What? Someone near me? That never happens. I'm here in Vancouver. Where are you in BC? I was actually born in Vancouver. I think I'm the only person that lives here that was. Winnipeg, Manitoba, 1 and 3. My mother was from Winnipeg, and she hated it with very good reason because she grew up during the Depression. She was born in 1922, and they didn't have any heat. Imagine living in Winnipeg with no heat. She said it was brutal. They had a little stove that they'd all huddle around in the kitchen. Imagine that, eh? Oh, Kansas, 2, 7, and 10-year-olds. Excellent. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. 2-year-old throwing tantrums out in public, bad ones, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Welcome. Okay. I was going to say, you're the same parent no matter where you are, but if you're out in public where it's disturbing people, like if you're in church or a restaurant or something like that, you can take them somewhere else and then ignore them. You always ignore tantrums. You don't say anything to them. You don't look at them. And there's a way of ignoring them. I actually have a tantrum busting course if you're interested for little ones. Anyway, so you just ignore tantrums and you do it no matter where you are. I'm going to tell you my mall story with my son. He was 3 years old and we were in a very loud, busy mall, so I could let this happen there. So he just started having a tantrum over nothing. We weren't even talking. We were actually leaving the mall, walking through the mall. He wasn't even leaving anywhere that he liked. Who knows why he had that tantrum? Anyway, so he starts having a tantrum. So he was 3. It was his second to last tantrum. He was catching on at this point. He knew they weren't going to work with me. Anyway, so I pulled him over to a store window, and then I pulled out my nail file. And you always want to look like you're just waiting for a bus. Like I'm just filing my nails. You don't get into a conversation with someone. You don't go on your phone. I actually think that's kind of rude. He's having a tantrum. I want it to be known that I'm standing there waiting for that to finish. That it's like you're waiting for a bus. Okay, so I'm standing there filing my nails. And then these young moms were coming up to me and they were saying, oh, you should give him a hug. Talk about his big emotions. And oh my God, I'm like, keep going, keep going. They were just inexperienced, right? So, but then these grandmothers and moms with older kids kept coming over to me saying, you know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Anyway, my son, it didn't go on for that long. My son gets up and I said, oh, y'all done? Okay, let's get going. You don't discuss tantrums before, during, or after. Where you put your energy, where you put your focus is what grows. And you do not want those tantrums to grow. So anyway, he only had one more. I think he had a few more with his dad, but he only had one more with me. Okay, so parenting questions. Okay, Manya on YouTube. Hi, my 20-month-old sleeps well at night, transitioning from a crib to a floor mattress. Yeah, I remember that. Should I secure the bedroom door to prevent wandering to the bathroom, kitchen, etc.? I'm a heavy. If you're a heavy, like I never did that with my kids, they could have walked out. I wanted to hear them if they got up. I wasn't. It's funny because I could sleep through a siren or something like that, but if my kids rolled over in bed, I'd wake up. So yeah, I would probably shut the door if you're a really heavy sleeper. Or what you could do is you could leave it a little bit ajar and put a bell on it, something that would wake you up if they do get up. Okay, so that's what I'd recommend. You don't want, how old is he? 20-month-old? You don't want them wandering around the house at night, right? So yeah, they don't usually do that anyway. Some will. A hair stuck in my hand. Some will, but it's rare that they're kind of thrown off at night in a quiet house. So they do tend to just go like this and call out for you. But anyway, yeah, I'd put a bell on the door. My 17-year-old was nothing like my son. Thank you. My 17-year-old was nothing like my son. Holly Stewart. My 17-year-old was nothing. So you have a 17-year-old daughter, and I don't quite know what you mean by that. Oh, you're in Toronto. Oh, excellent. The person who was on said you're from British Columbia. I didn't see where you're from. I'll scroll through in a second. I'm just curious because I'm here in Vancouver. I don't usually get people from my area. Like I rarely get a coaching client from Vancouver. I used to do a lot of local TV and radio, and I got a lot of local people, but yeah, I don't anymore. Help with 10-year-old boy and 8-year-old girl that are obsessed with everything being fair. So am I. I get it. I'm really into justice. Sometimes things can't be fair. I've tried in the past to always make things equal. So I think that's where that comes from. I need a very specific example because I don't know what you mean by fair. But I'll tell you what I did with my kids when it came to sharing. Let's say there's one piece of cake left. I used to say, okay, one cuts and the other one chooses. So, and then the next time the other one cuts. You flip a coin for the first cut. So my son was the first one to do that. And he was like this, just shaking, just moving crumbs over. And then my daughter, he was 8, she was 3. And my daughter, she was pretty clever. I thought this was very clever. So he was so nervous that he wasn't, and I wouldn't allow them to use a scale. I said, no, you don't need to use a scale because I was enjoying it. That's why. So he's moving crumbs over. And they were exact same. You could tell it was exactly the same, each piece of cake. So she goes like this. She goes, I'll take the big one. There was no big one. And my son's like this, you know. But anyway, have one cut, the other one choose. If it's something that they're actually sharing like that. I got 3 different ways to show kids how to share. That's just one of my ways. You answered my question about the tantrums. Yeah, tantrums are they're annoying. I'll give you that. They are annoying. I don't like them, but I'd rather deal with tantrums than whining. Whining, I don't know what it is. My teeth just about vibrate. I find it so annoying. So we all have something that drives us nuts. I can't handle whining. I want that. Oh, geez, I can't even do it. I just got a headache doing that. I hate whining. Isn't that funny? Help with a 15-year-old girl that moved into my home 3 months ago after being arrested at mom's. Never had her rules or responsibilities or even made to go to school. Worried. Oh, geez. Okay. You would have to hire me for that. Okay. If you can't afford to or you don't want to hire me, okay, because it's Christmas time, I understand that. Anyway, so check out the behavior board and start there. Call it an accountability chart. And I'm going to read out, don't call the behavior board with a teenager, call it an accountability chart. And okay, I'm going to read out my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. And this is just some real basic general stuff just to think about. But yeah, you got a hard road ahead of you. Okay, if you want to hire me, yeah, that's yeah. I'd be concerned too, but there are, it's not. It's not like you can't do anything about it. It's that you got to be very careful with this. Okay. So these are my top 3 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1 is listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. Number 2, this would probably pertain to you a lot, is negotiate pretty much everything. So, hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? You don't do that with everything. It's not just a blanket statement, but it's a pretty good thing to think about. Number 3 is don't sweat the small stuff. Save your energy for the big stuff if you even have it. If you're going to micromanage a teenager, good luck with that. It doesn't work. Okay, so those are my top 3 tips. Listen to understand rather than gather information to lecture with. Negotiate pretty much everything, and don't sweat the small stuff. That's my top 3 tips. Teenagers are my favorite age, actually. I used to mentor troubled teenagers, and they taught me more about myself, I think, than anyone else ever has. I had no idea I had that much patience. Yeah. Whining is so annoying. Yep. Drives me insane. I actually, no, I've heard young women whining with their boyfriends, like in their 20s. I don't want to go there, sweetie. You know, that real baby talking whining. Oh, I think they should be arrested. That's it. Take them off to jail. That should be against the law. It just annoys the heck out of me. I have 3 littlies, 4 and then twins at 3. They are adopted major trauma backgrounds. We are working in therapy and also using your techniques. Oh, that's a big question. Seeing improvements at home. Yay, good, excellent. My 4-year-old does amazing at school, but the 3-year-olds are having very defiant behaviors. At 3, they often find their power, okay? Unless you're a leader, then they get easier at 3. So it's a bit of a tell. If at 3, they all of a sudden get really difficult, that means that they've figured out you're not a leader. So work on your leadership skills. Sound like you already are anyway. What would you recommend for us to do at home for consequences related to daycare? When I ask why they behave that way and why they are mean to their teachers, they say it's funny. So excited to catch you. Oh, it's a bit of a tricky one. Okay, so if it's stuff at daycare, it can't be attitude related, but if it's bad words or hitting or anything like that, like actions or bad words, those are 2 things you can put on the behavior board and say, I'll be checking with the daycare ladies or the teacher or the men or whatever. And then there'll be a consequence. Use that behavior board. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was adopted. So I've coached parents who've had adopted kids and how you navigate through that. I had no traumatic background. I was adopted as a newborn, but yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that, on how you introduce that and how you raise kids. And I'll just tell you here, my mother, she was brilliant. I was born back in 1960, and my dad said, I don't know if I want to tell her she was adopted. And my mom said, we're telling her. Like, the secrets imply shame. She was just smart. She had savvy. And so anyways, I was about 2, and I can still remember her saying to me, you know that little baby, I had a little black baby doll. I just loved it. I had that thing till I was 30 years old. I just loved that thing. It shriveled up. It was like soft rubbery, and it shriveled up. I cried when I threw it away. I was 30 years old, or like probably 28. Anyway, yeah, imagine that, eh? So anyway, she said, because it was dark and I was white and it was a little black baby. And she said, you love that baby. It doesn't look anything like you. And I look very different from my rest of my family. So she said, looks very different. You adopted that baby. She was chosen and very special. And that's how I was raised. I thought that being adopted made me more special. I thought other kids that were just had. I was the lucky one. The mom realized, she goes, maybe I overshot a little bit. You're pretty up yourself. So I always bragged about being adopted. So I didn't know that some people saw that as a negative, whereas I was always, oh, I was adopted. Lucky me. So yeah, she said she overshot. She had to pull back a little. Yeah, other kids are special too. I went, not as special as me. That was probably quite nauseating. Anyway, 5-year-old whiner, what do you do for whining? At that age, I would say to them, you know, when you talk like this, I want that. Say, from now on, I won't be answering that because it's annoying. I don't like it. But if you say, and then show them how you want them to talk. Instead, if you say, may I please have, in a nice voice, the answer may still be no, but I will answer you. Okay? So whining, say, will always be ignored. You'll never get what you want with whining. And they're old enough to understand that. Don't put whining on the behavior board. It's in the attitude department. We don't put attitude on there. You can try, but there's no point. Okay. Love that change in name for the chart. Yeah, an accountability chart. A lot of my clients have actually taken that to work with their staff, and they have fun with it. And the boss is on there too, of course. And what they do is if they have staff that are regularly late, what they'll do is they'll put down, if you're 5 minutes late, no, how do they do it? Oh, you have to bring, no, wait, how does this work? If you're 5 minutes late, you have to serve everyone coffee or something like that in the office. If you're more than 5 minutes late, or however they do it, they figure it out for their, then you have to go out and get mini donuts too. So, and then the boss does it too. So they have a lot of fun with it. It's just an accountability chart. Keeps everyone in line. Also, a lot of my clients use it in their marriage, away from the kids. So they have rules for themselves too. It's a good thing. I invented that. I've been coaching now for 17 years. I invented that 16 years ago. The first year I was kind of floundering with coaching. I was teaching them what I do. Well, I never used a behavior board. Then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm level 10 with what I teach. I got to teach level 1 and level 2, and that's the behavior board. It's a teaching tool, because I would never use one. Where are you located? I'm in Vancouver, but none of my clients are. So yeah, it's very rare that I'll get someone from anywhere near me. And when I do, I'm like, oh, that's exciting. Thank you for sharing examples too. That helps. I don't know what I said, but anyway, she's definitely troubled. Is that the 15-year-old? Yeah, I worked with delinquent, troubled teenagers. So I totally sympathize. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit. If you don't want to hire me, I'll tell you a little bit about how you get started with a teenager who's kind of broken. Is you always approach her with, you know what, I want to be the best I can for you. And so always make it like it's your fault if she's acting out. It's your fault if things aren't going well. So yeah, listen, I'm going to do my best here. So on this accountability chart, what do you want from me? What do you want my role to be? I want to support you here. I want to be the best I can be for you. How can I support you? And be careful with that. Then don't say, and here's what I want from you. You be very careful with that. Start small. Don't expect, she can ask a lot from you, but don't ask much for her. That's why I said, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper. Something like that, like when you're negotiating with a teenager. Just keep it real simple. Okay? Don't make it anything big. Never put attitude on there. Never, 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 never. The attitude happens organically. Once they respect you, the attitude improves. That's how you do that. But you got to earn that. You got to work for that. It's hard work. I got a lot of stories I tell in coaching. I don't tell them here because I don't want to scare people. Because I've worked with so many kids who were really challenging. And but yeah, it's quite amazing when you take blame for what they do wrong. They're often thrown off by that. Yeah, okay. The reason why you did that, yeah, I'm not a good enough mentor. Obviously, because I used to call I was their mentor kind of thing. So I'd say, yeah, obviously that's why you did that, because I'm not a good enough mentor. I'm going to have to work on myself. And they're like, it's not your fault, Lisa. Like, they're so taken aback by that. Kind of it sort of improves the relationship right away. Anyway, I don't want to go on about that too much. That's teenage stuff. Okay, and then my favorite age, by far. Laugh my effing ass off. About what? Did I say something funny, or are you just laughing at me? That's okay. Either way, that's fine. A couple people laughed. What did I say that was funny? I have no concept. Was that me being a pain in the butt? I'm adopted and special? Probably. Okay. How to teach a 2 going on 3. Well, I'm 63 going on 64. I don't know how close they are, to not grab the 9-year-old stuff. So they're almost 3 years old. Not grab the 9. That's a little bit tricky, because I would say to the 9-year-old, if you don't want it to be grabbed, don't put it in a public place. You have to have your secret plate, not secret, but your personal space. And then you tell the almost 3-year-old, you cannot touch anything that's there. So the 9-year-old has to learn, if you want to keep your stuff to yourself, this is where it goes. So you got to get a system. I don't know your household. I don't know how to set that up at your house, but that's what I would get a system going. You got to be really organized with this. And whenever I'm working with kids or with my own kids and something would come up, I'd say, okay, let's think about this. And I'd get them to help me with it. And I'd say, what do you think we should do here? I'd talk to the 9-year-old, say, look, you don't want them to touch your stuff. I think we should have a space where that's a no-go for them. And if they do, there's a consequence, okay? So, but yeah, let's work it out together. There was something I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue. It was something someone said. Anyway, do 3-year-olds need to be going to sleep without parent in the room with your bedtime battles? We can't get ours to fall asleep without us in the room. Yeah, they kind of do. They're 3 years old. Yeah, they kind of do. I would get something special, the galaxy light, the sound machine, a night light, something they can have even music or something, quiet music in the background. So replace you with something else. So introduce something else instead of you. Yeah. Because otherwise, what's the point? Then they wake up in the middle of the night and they're going to want you right there. So yeah. But that's one of those things. If you want to sit with them all night, fine. But if you don't, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sit and wait for them to fall asleep. I don't know why this comes up so up. This is someone, lately this has come up a lot on YouTube. My name is, I can't pronounce it, sorry. From Kitchener, Canada. That's Kitchener, Ontario. I have a 6-year-old son. He really doesn't understand transitions, so I need some ideas on the situation. Transitions have been coming up a lot lately. We all struggle with transitions. None of us really do well with change. Unless it's something really exciting. Oh, I want $1 million. But even that's change. We're all sort of programmed for routine. It's the way our minds and our bodies like to operate best. So children are learning how to deal with transitions. You have to allow them to sort of struggle with that. Sorry, but you can't make everything easy. What you're asking of me is, how do I make it easy? You really don't. Like, you just sort of say, yeah, it's going to be tough. Starting a new grade, new class, moving into a new room, a new house. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but you'll get used to it. You'll be okay. That's okay. So yeah, you don't want to make stuff necessary. I know a lot of parents sort of come at me from that angle. How do we make it easy? How do we avoid tantrums? You don't. You allow them to process this stuff, but you're there as a calm leader. Yeah, it's okay. You can have a tantrum, do whatever you want, but I'm, calm as anything. Yeah, don't try and save the day all the time. That's that real please your parent style that's out. That's so trendy right now. You're trying to make everything easy for your children. You actually want them to have participation awards. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard of in your whole life? You just turn up and you get an award. I'm here. Where's my trophy? Like, how stupid is that? Talk about raising self-entitled snowflakes. Anyway, it's just the dumbest thing I ever heard. No, it's not the dumbest thing, but it's one of the stupidest things. That happened 30 years ago, that participation awards. It was funny because I remember once reading in the paper, and they were making fun of this parent, but they were trying to make it sound like they weren't. But this parent got mad because their child didn't get a participation award. The child didn't even turn up to the game that day. They didn't want to go. And the parent still wanted them to get a participation award. You just know that person now would be in their 30s. You know they're messed up. I mean, come on. If that was the way their life was, oh my God. Talk about messing up your kids. Okay, sorry, I have to flip ahead. I always forget. Instagram and Facebook don't flip the comments for me, and those people might have already gone. So I'll start at the end, and then I'll work back. Okay, how would you handle a new 4-year-old who gets frustrated and kicks things or throws things? Doesn't happen often, but he was upset today when he and a friend had a disagreement. He gets angry or frustrated and will have these outbursts. Okay, at 4 years old, they should be growing out of that. That should be sort of a thing of the past. It might get the odd one, but you said it doesn't happen often. But yeah, now he didn't say he's having a tantrum though. He just gets frustrated and kicks things or throws things. Okay. I would say I would put on the behavior board, don't get aggressive or violent. And I would explain. That means you don't kick things, you don't throw things. So you don't prevent the anger, by the way. Do not even try. Doesn't make any sense to me. Allow him to be angry. There's nothing wrong with being angry, but it's how he deals with it. So you say, so if you get upset and you kick something, there's a consequence. Check out the behavior board. It's completely free. It's in the link or the bio or whatever it's called here. Check that out and it'll teach you how to do that. It's a behavior board. It's completely free. There's rules and consequences for everybody in the family, including you. I don't say that enough on here. I'm quite new on Facebook. But yeah, you're on that behavior board too. That's what makes it work. You have to have a rule too. Kids aren't listening to you. They're watching you. And if you're not accountable, why should they be? How unfair is that? What a hierarchy. I don't agree with that. I was very accountable with my kids. Believe me, if I messed up, they were all over me. Gee, Mom, didn't you mess up? I go, yeah, fine. What do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park tomorrow. I'm like, fine, I'll get your seats ready. So yeah, you got to be accountable too. That's why you're on that behavior board. It's ridiculous if you're not. I just don't. That's the old-fashioned authority style parent. It doesn't swing anymore. It doesn't go swing. What am I talking? What is that even a thing? It doesn't. I was going to say jive, as if that's cooler than. It doesn't work anymore. The old-fashioned, it's not a bad way to parent, though. The new fashion pleaser parent's a total disaster. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. They're those adults that you're raising that are out front here in my downtown apartment. They're out front arguing parking tickets, even when they're in the wrong. That's what you're raising, those nutcases that argue parking tickets, even when they're in the wrong. I watch that and I'm like, oh, these people should be carted off in a net. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. You're caught with your hand in the cookie jar, and then you argue that you didn't. Like, I just don't get it. To me, it just makes no sense. Anyway, but yeah, that self-entitled snowflake. You don't want that. Okay, what's your thoughts on the trend in parenting to not overly praise your child so they don't expect it out of life? Damaging to the kid or not praise? Praise tends to motivate my kids, but I'm not sure if I'm... Okay. Do you know what is the, God, I could just feel a whole speech coming on. Okay, praising your children. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't praise, I'll tell you a funny story, actually. My son was in grade 2, and the teacher said to him, she told me this, she called me on her lunch hour to tell me this. She thought it was so cute. She said, he's in grade 2. She goes, why are you so nice? And he said, Mommy makes us be nice. Like, I didn't praise them for being nice, because to me, I just expected that. That was my baseline. But I was always telling them how lucky I was to have them, and I was playing with them all the time. They felt treasured. It's better to make your children feel treasured and play with them in their world than it is to be, you're wonderful, you're smart, you're this. They kind of tune that stuff out. What they want you to play with them. Their love language is not praise, it is fun. So praise doesn't do as much for them as you think it does, especially if you're praising them for stuff that they know they're not even good at. There's a lot of false praises out there, and I think kids are the best poop detectors out there. So yeah, praise doesn't do much for them. It's about playing with them and having fun with them and treasuring them. They know they're treasured. When you're always playing with them and laughing with them, and they know they're treasured. That's gold. That's what fills their heart. That's what makes them feel loved, special. And they have pride in themselves. Their love language is fun, not praise. So it's kind of overdone. Often I'll have clients when I'm coaching, and they'll say, oh, I'm always telling them how wonderful they are. I said, do you ever play with them? Do you ever play hide and seek or anything? And they go, what? Like, well, no, I don't like doing that. And I'm like, well, that's their love language is not praise. They don't want you just telling them how special they are. They want you to show it. Play with them. Does that help? Praise versus fun. Praise versus play. I'm going to do a video on that. That's a good one, actually. I come up with my best ideas when I'm coaching and when I'm doing this, like when I'm talking to parents. Sorry, I've got to flip ahead because I don't want, because if I answer the older questions that you might have already gone, those people. How do you teach a toddler to share in preschool? You don't. And preschool is 3 and 4-year-old usually. That's what I call preschool age. A toddler is under the age of 3. You can't teach an under the age of 3 to share. You can teach them to not grab stuff though, but you can't do anything about that if you're not there. So that's kind of, they tend to learn that through social pressure. If they keep grabbing stuff off other kids, they might get hit. So yeah, it's usually social pressure that teaches them that. So I don't quite know the age exactly. And if they're under 3, there's nothing you can do anyway. If they're getting in trouble at school for not sharing, you can put listen to the teacher or something about sharing on your behavior board at home. And then when the teacher says they grabbed something today, then there can be a consequence. Anyway, I got to get moving. I got to move over to Instagram now. So if you want to follow me over there, if not, check out my description. You can get my free behavior board. You're on that too. That's what makes it work, by the way. You've got to have rules and consequences too. That's why the kids get on board with this pretty quick. Anyway, my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old, or you can hire me for I did 3 things and then I went to 5. Forgot about. Oh, God, I'm silly sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, or you can hire me for coaching. Anyway, I'm moving over to Instagram if you want to join me over there. It's Bratbusters Parenting. Okay, and I stay on YouTube. No, don't want to do that. So I'm not very good at all this stuff. I don't actually manage my, I do all my TikTok. Someone else does all my other stuff. Thank God, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm on Instagram, right? Yes, I'm on Instagram. Okay. And Instagram is weird. Everyone turns up, bang, all at once. Like 100 people, bang. It's not like that on any other platform. It's really weird. I don't know why that is. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, yeah, here they come. Gangbusters. It's just bizarre. Anyway, okay, I'm talking to YouTube. Sorry about that. Because I'm on YouTube the whole time. I just did my Facebook Live, and after this 30 minutes, I'm going to be doing my TikTok Live. I've got them all scheduled out, 30 minutes every Tuesday and Thursday night. And I've got them all in the bio or the description. So yeah, everyone's here already. It's really weird. Everyone turns up all together. It's like you're all in a pack together in the lives on Instagram. It doesn't happen that way on any other platform. I don't even know why that matters to me. It just kind of annoys me because it's like, I don't understand it. Like, why is it so different? Okay, so let's get going with your parenting questions. But first, if you go in the bio or the description, you'll see my link and you can get my free behavior board, one of my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. Remember, that's all about you, not your kids. Or you can hire me for coaching. So let's get going with your parenting questions. Okay, I don't know about the. I'll read it out and I'll tell you why I can't really answer. Our 3.3-year-old has been potty trained for the daytime for approximately a year. So they're 3.5. So that's 2.5. Okay, that's good. I train my kids at 2.5. My course potty training is 2.5. Problem is, night times he doesn't pee without one of us waking him up 2 or 3 times per night. Help. I don't know. Could he just, okay. This is what I've been told. Because some of my clients are pediatricians, and one of them said, because anyway, it came up, and they said they can either have a small bladder or the tube that goes from the bladder to the exit could be shorter, or they just mentally haven't built that connection. When they're sleeping, they don't pee. So he said it could be physical or a combination of mental and physical. And they, because sometimes people will wet their beds right into their teen years. And that is, it's just, their brain just doesn't connect the two. It's unusual. Not to say that's going to happen. That's unusual. But anyway. So what I would do is make sure they don't have very much to drink at night and get a potty, 3.5-year-old, let me think. I wouldn't do that. No. I don't know what to tell you here because I don't know what the cause is. You see? Yeah, I would make sure they don't have anything to drink for at least 90 minutes before bedtime. 2 or 3 times, though. That's a lot. I haven't heard of that. I've heard of once. 2 or 3 times per night. Yeah. Have you talked to the doctor? Just checking in just to see if it is something physical? Or are they having caffeine, like colas and stuff like that? Stuff with caffeine in it. That could make it worse. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the reasons, so I don't really want to. See, I can't really answer that. You get a notification. Is that why everyone turns up? Everyone gets notifications on my other platforms too. But on Instagram, everyone turns up at once. Everyone turns up like in a group. The other ones, it filters in like slower. Yeah, I don't understand that. Anyway. Poop withholding. Help, 2-year-old is scared to poop. Okay, there's 2 reasons for that. Actually, 3. So if they're already potty trained, I do have a potty training course if you're interested in that. It's a whole party. And I trained my son in 1 day, my daughter in 2. And there were no pull-ups and no night diapers. But there's a system in place on how you do all that. But anyway, and it's not guaranteed. I was kind of already a leader, so the kids were listening to me a little bit better maybe than if you're not a leader. But it's a good place to start with leadership because it's a real fun way to show that you're in charge and you know what you're doing. Anyway, the reason why they tend to not poop in the toilet, this can happen. There's 3 reasons. One is they might have done it in the past and they got splashback, which was very unpleasant and they didn't like it. They don't want that to happen again. Another one is they don't like the hanging feeling or the cold feeling while they're sitting on the potty or the toilet. Okay, so the hanging pulls and it can get cold when they're there for a while, and they don't like any of that. So here's what I suggest you do, because they're used to mashing it into a diaper, which is warm and it's not pulling on them, and there's no splashback, right? Okay, so here's what I would do. I would get one of those little porta potties, and I would have if you have a heater, even a portable heater in the bathroom, I would hike up the heat in the bathroom, and I would sit them down on a little porta potty, make sure it's nice and warm, and I would have a lot of toilet paper in the bottom of that so they can feel it on their bum. Makes them feel a little bit more secure. Give that a go. Good luck with that. There's no guarantee with any of this stuff. There's no guarantee. It's just we're working with the odds here. Does that make sense, though? Does that help at all? It's the plop, the hanging, and the cold. The splashback, the hanging, the cold. 14-month-old twins, what should I focus on? Being fun. Fun is their love language. All kids, all young people, even teenagers, fun, humor, all that, that's their love language. Have fun with them. Just be goofy, have fun, play in it's always in their world. You don't go to the nail salon with your little kids. You go to the park and roll down the hill with them. I remember once I took my kids to the park and I said, we're going to have a somersaulting contest at the park. I think I did one somersault and just about vomited. So yeah, we always did stuff that I was losing. I never played anything competitive with them. We always just did silly stuff. So yeah, play with them. That's their love language. I just did a video on that a few days ago on TikTok. And I don't know if I don't do my other platforms. It might have turned up somewhere else, but it's what is a child's love language? It's fun. They feel more special and more loved when you're playing with them in their world than any other time. Someone just asked me, I think it might have been here, but I think it was on Facebook. What do you think about praising children? And I said, they don't really care about that. They'd rather you play with them. Like praise is okay, but that's not their love language. You're wonderful, you're special. Yeah, okay, thanks. But can we play blocks now? Like they want you to play with them. They want you to spend time with them in their world. That's when they feel really special and loved. Does that make sense? Okay, you got a 3-year-old calling you a butthead. Okay, so I would use the behavior board. It's free. It's in the link above. And put down no bad words or name calling. Okay, and every time they do, there's a consequence. And there's always 2 consequences for the kids. The first one is a positive action. The second was that if they don't do that, then you resort to the negative deprivation. But if they're name calling all day long, I'll say, I'll tell you what, you did a lot of name calling today, so we're going to go straight to the second one. No TV, no screens for a whole day. So you see if they really have a bad day doing it, then you resort to the second discipline, the second consequence. None of this is supposed to be easy, but it's worth it. Everyone wants the easy way. There is no, it's like dieting or anything else. It's worth it, but it's hard. So getting respect is hard work. Maintaining it's a piece of cake. I never got it. I just maintained it from the time my kids were little. So it's just, I flew through. So many people used to say, oh, you're so lucky. You got the easiest kids in the world. But people who knew me, they knew I'd work for that. They knew I'd put in the work. So, but yeah, you got to earn it. You have to earn it. It doesn't just happen. They don't come out of the womb handing their respect to you on a silver platter. Okay, you got to earn that. You got to set up your leadership skills. It's all about you. I teach parenting. I don't teach toddlering or kidding or teenagering. They already know how to do all that. They're just reacting to your parenting. Between the ages of 3 and 12, 100% of their behavior is a direct result of your parenting, because that's when you're at the height of your leadership. That's why my boot camp course is 3 to 12 years old. Very different ages. And the course covers all that different things you're going to come up against. Not everything, I'm sure, but anyway, a lot. And the main stuff. Anyway, but it's about you. You are the same parent virtually. They want to please you because you're at the height of your leadership. Before that, they're just nuts. They're toddlers. And then after that, when they're teenagers, you want to pass the torch. You want them to learn how to be their own leaders. And then they don't want to disappoint you. You don't want teenagers to want to please you all the time. That's kind of pathetic. But you do want younger kids to, because you're their mentor. They're going to tell you everything. Just like I told my mom everything, my kids told me everything, a lot that we didn't want to hear necessarily. That's the thing, is if you're a good leader and your kids respect you, they'll tell you everything, even stuff you don't even want to hear about. And then you kind of try not to react. You just kind of go like that. Oh, okay, that sounds good. My mom said she used to go in her bedroom after talking to me sometimes when I was a teenager, and she'd go in her room and shut the door and go, wow. She never showed me that. She'd just go, oh, that sounds good, sweetie. Oh, okay. Yeah, I told her everything. Okay. 3.5-year-old twins. One of them hits and bites a lot. Okay, so I do have a course on toddlers who hit, bite, etc. if you're interested. But what I would do is I would use the behavior. There's lots of different methods, but you can use the behavior board and say no hitting or no hurting other people. Put it like that. And every time they do, there's a consequence. A really good consequence for that the punishment can't always fit the crime, but this is a good one that does. If they're mean to someone, they have to do something nice for that one. So the 11-month-old gets to play with their favorite toy for like 10 minutes with you. They can't, the one who hit can't join in though. So that, yeah, you hit him. Now he gets to play with your favorite toy for 10 minutes. That would be a really good consequence. That's one of the ones that my clients say is really effective. They often don't even hit again because they don't want that to happen again. Not always though. None of this is like, it's not black and white. Life's messy. Parenting's messy. Some of this stuff's going to work. Some of it isn't. You're different. We're all different, right? Like you're going to have strengths and weaknesses. When I'm coaching, I have to assess that. I completely change what I teach every single different family because I assess their strengths and weaknesses pretty quickly. And I work on that. I use that to my advantage. Yeah. So we're all different, right? You're going to be better at some things, worse at others. We all are. Hi, my daughter's 3 years old and she can't talk. And because she can't say her words, she cries and shouts a lot and has very bad eczema, itching herself. There's a couple, I can't discuss the eczema because that's, or eczema, whatever you call it. Different places pronounce it differently. It's like, not autism. What is it? What's that other type of autism? Everyone pronounces it differently. Anyway, she can't speak, so she doesn't have words. Is there a reason why she isn't speaking? And some kids don't speak till they're about 3. They just aren't in a rush. So I don't know if there's a reason behind that. But can she do there's baby sign language or just sign language in general? Could she do that? I don't know. I'd find other ways to communicate because I don't know the situation. Oh, Asperger's, that's it. Nothing to do with you, but the Asperger's or Asperger's or whatever. It's pronounced different everywhere. But yeah, I would, I don't know her situation. So I'm kind of stumbling here because I don't know if there's a reason why she's not speaking or she's just in no rush. What consequence can you give a 9-year-old for not wanting to go to school? No bullying issue. Well, I don't care. There's no consequence for not wanting to go to school. There might be a consequence for not going to school, but if he doesn't want to go to school, I don't know why. I'd want to know why. No bullying, but there might be something else going on. Why do they not want to go to school? That's what I'd have to figure out. So yeah. So I don't know why. Yeah. And so what if they don't want to go to school? They got to go. I remember once, or both my kids asked this when they were probably around that age. And they said, we're learning stuff here we're never going to use. And I said, yeah, you're learning how to learn. And you're learning how to turn up. It's all about self-discipline. So, and they went, oh, okay, fine. Like, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you're feeding into it and you're feeling bad about it and you're hedging. Like, I don't know. Are you a pleaser parent? You know what I mean by that? Yeah, I'm wondering. Because if my kid said I don't want to go to school, I'd say, yeah, anyway, okay, here we go. We're going to school. Like, what does that have to do with anything? So what if they don't want to go? Or is it a huge scene? I don't know what level. Hello, first time here. Oh, hello. I'm quite new on Facebook. I've only been on Facebook for a couple months. Oh no, this is Instagram. I've been on Instagram, I think, for 3 months now. And I think Facebook for a couple of months. My big platform is TikTok. So Instagram, it's grown really fast on here, but it's my most active lives because a lot of you are new. On TikTok, it's a lot of regulars for the past year and a half. So, but yeah, so Instagram is actually my busiest live right now. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I don't know, the doctor haven't said anything about autism. Oh, I didn't necessarily think that was autism. The only reason I said the word autism was because of eczema, because I said eczema or eczema, because everyone pronounces it differently. And the other thing that they pronounced differently was Asperger's, which is a form of autism. It's an offshoot of autism. So it had nothing to do with your child, okay? It was just the pronunciation point I was trying to make. I didn't communicate that very well. Okay. Okay, 2.5-year-old gets fixated on a certain toy he wants in that moment that's not even out. We rotate toys. Oh, I talk about toy rotation system all the time. I'm an ECE. What's that? Early childhood educator? Is that what that means? Anyway, however, it's getting worse and the tantrums are becoming longer. He gets fixated. That's not resonating with me. So he just wants what he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. Is that it? That's fine. He's allowed to have tantrums. Let him go. Let him have tantrums. Does it matter? Like, he'll eventually learn. You can't get what you want, when you want, and how you want it all the time. So when you say fixated, that just says to me that you're almost giving it like a medical diagnosis. He just wants what he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. That's all. He'll learn. He'll learn. I have a tantrum busting course, but basically the gist of that is how you always ignore tantrums, because where you put your energy grows. And if you give any attention to a tantrum, you're feeding it. So you completely ignore tantrums. Did I tell this here in this tantrum story? Should I tell the swing story? That's my best tantrum story. Yeah, I'll tell the swing story. You might not have heard it. It's one I tell every single day usually. Like my TikTok audience, they could probably recite it. Anyway, the swing story. This is my best example. It's a true story. How you handle tantrums and how you don't handle them. It's a perfect story for this. Anyway, my son was 2 years old and he had tantrums. They either are born to have them or they're not. There's 4 things they're born to have. Tantrums are one of them. They're either going to do them or they're not. The other 3 are aggressiveness, hitting and that. The other one is climbing and the other one is running. They don't look behind to see where you are. They just take off. So it's 4 things they're either born. So it's not your fault when they do them, but you got to teach them out of this stuff. Anyway, so my son did have tantrums. So we went to the park. And there was another mom there with her little 2-year-old boy. So, and she was new in the area and it was a very tight little community. So I was welcoming her, hello, chatting. Hi, my name's Lisa. What's your name? So anyway, what's that? Oh, okay. It's my daughter messaging me. Anyway, so we're introducing ourselves and we're both putting there's 2 swings, 2 2-year-old boys, 2 moms. So we're chatting, introducing ourselves. And maybe this is why the kids had a tantrum. Anyway, sorry, my daughter's texting me. The reason why I'm looking is my grandchild is due now, like anytime. So if my kids text me, I'm like, is it the grandchild? And I just took my car in for a service today, which is stupid. I thought, what if the grandchild's due? Anyway, I'll just take a cab if I have to. So anyway, that's why I keep looking there. I'm on edge, right? When is my baby due, my granddaughter? So anyway, where was I saying? Oh yeah, it's the swing story. So anyway, we both are chatting and we're putting our 2-year-olds on the swing. And they both point to the other swing. So we say, well, who cares? Let's just switch them over. They both start tantruming for no reason because toddlers are nuts, right? They both start tantruming. Now, here's what I did. There was 2 benches too. So I took my son over to the bench and I sat him down on the bench. He went to run back for the swing and I put my arm out real fast. He knew me by this time. He just sat back and had a tantrum. So anyway, this is me. I'm looking up at the trees. I'm looking at the birds. I'm completely ignoring him. Now, he was on to me by this point. He knew that mom's never going to feed that tantrum. So because you ignore the crazy and you reward the calm. Attention is reward. Anyway, he finally stops tantruming. It only lasted for about 2 minutes, which was fast for him. But anyway, this was a quick one. So we had a tantrum. 2 minutes later, he stops. And I said to him, oh, y'all done? Okay, let's go on the swing. So you see, I ignored the crazy, rewarded the calm. That's why he got out of the tantrum so fast. So anyway, back on the swing, he's having a great time. Here's the other bench. The mom did the same thing. She took her child over to the other bench. She's talking to him the whole time. Give mommy a hug. Mommy loves you. She's giving him the mini therapy session. It's all about you. It's all about the mom. Those mini therapy sessions discussing big feelings, big emotions, they're garbage. They were just invented to make the mom feel good about herself. They are nothing to do with the toddler at all. Their language is tantruming. It is actions. It is crazy. That is their language. It's not the mini therapy sessions. They're a total waste of time. So he's getting more and more worked up because she's feeding it. It's growing. It's like fertilizing a plant. She's fertilizing this tantrum. And, mommy loves you, but you shouldn't have done that. He's screaming for 20 minutes. The mother's a mess. Anyway, this is even worse. So he finally stopped, and I'm watching it. I'm just going, oh my God, this poor kid. And the poor mom too. So anyway, he finally stops tantruming. Now he's got the hiccup cries. That. Now, that was when she should have said, okay, let's go back on the swing. What'd she do? She gave him another therapy session. Now, if you just calmed down before, you could have been back on the swing. But no, you were screaming, and she's just 30 minutes of therapy for a 2-year-old. It was a total crap show. It was a disaster. Anyway, my kid was tired of swinging after a half hour. We went home, and she was humiliated. She was sweating. He was sweating. They were just a mess. That's the difference, how you handle tantrums. Now, mine went very smoothly. It didn't always go that smoothly, but he was learning from me. The first time you start ignoring them, they might even get worse initially because they remember the old you when you were feeding it. They get more miserable when you feed it, but they don't understand that. They still want your attention because that's why they're doing it, right? Children never tantrum when they're alone. They only do it for attention. So anyway, that's the difference. Does that make sense? Why you ignore a tantrum and what she did wrong. It's just a disaster. Oh my God, it was painful to watch, especially after he finished. And then she kept talking to him. Oh, it was agony. Okay. Going strong with ignoring my daughter the last few days, 2.5. So that's the tantrums, right? Not just ignoring her, but ignoring tantrums. And when she's having a fit, I just start playing with her toys, and she calms down and comes right over to play. That's that method where it's the diversion, but it's sort of a indirect diversion because I don't like diversion. When you use diversion to, if a kid's being naughty or having a tantrum, it's a reward because you never divert with broccoli. You always divert with, here's some candy. It's never, here's some broccoli. So it's always like a reward. And then they think, well, geez, next time I'm going to have even more tantrums because I'll get more candy. But this is the indirect diversion. And this is what I recommend. I don't actually recommend it for 2.5-year-olds, but if it's working, do it. I kind of go a little bit harder with this. Like I tend to ignore it without doing this. But if it's working, do it. Don't change it. So anyway, if they're having a tantrum, and especially if it goes on for a long time, I would get their favorite book out and read it out loud to myself away from them. Oh my, and the fox went over the fence, and ooh, what happens next? Ooh, and next thing you know, they're crawling in your lap and you're reading a book. Everything's great again. So that's the diversion, but it's indirect. It's not direct. It's like, here's a book I'm reading. Can you come on? You don't do it like that because that's giving the attention to the tantrum. You're giving your attention to the book. It's not a bad way to do it. I have a reason why I don't do that with a 2.5-year-old, but if it's working, do it. A lot of parents, I don't want to get into it, but because it's not that big a deal if you do it. If you do that, it's not that big a deal. Their tantrums might go on a little bit longer, that's all. Yeah, never mind. I won't go into it because it's not bad. It's not bad. It actually, because it works, but okay. I get all really anal with all this stuff because I've been doing this for 52 years now. So I have my very set ways on how I like to do things. And I've been doing it. Times change, but people don't. But yeah, I have my very set ways. So I get a little bit anal with this stuff sometimes. Settle down, Lisa. I take this very seriously. I love what I do. Okay, examples of consequences for 3 and 4-year-olds. Check out my behavior board. It's completely free and it has examples on there. It's usually chores. There's always 2 consequences. A positive action. If they won't do that, then you resort to the negative deprivation. But once you've done that, make it happen. Say, okay, you didn't empty the dishwasher within 10 minutes of being asked to do so. Always time everything. So now it's media blackout for 24 hours. No, I'll empty the dishwasher now. It's too late. You've already got media blackout. You cannot go back on it. So I'm getting all sweaty. You cannot go back on it. Once you've said it's happening, make it happen. A lot of parents get pulled into that and they run and empty the dishwasher, say, thanks for that. Can I watch TV? Well, no, I already said media blackout. So they've emptied the dishwasher and they get media blackout. That's a very good lesson for them to learn. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, what are some, this is on YouTube, that's why I'm looking down. What are some, actually my camera for YouTube is up here. I have a couple cameras, but the questions are on my, why do I do that? Oh yeah, anyway, my questions are down there. What are some examples of being a leader with 3-year-old if parents want to begin practicing leadership? Number one is be fun with your kids. Fun is their love language. Play with them in their world. Watch how they play and play with them. So I did crazy stuff with my kids, like just nuts. I won't go into a lot of it because it's pretty insane. But like every night, say, okay, every night after dinner, we're going to play balloon tennis for 10 minutes. You know, get interactive in their world. And so, yeah, that's one of the best ways to be a leader is to actually play with them. And when you're like a playmate, like a friend, they're almost embarrassed to be rude to you. The discipline is a tiny part of parenting, by the way. I never had to discipline my kids past the age of about 3.5 to 4. They were self-disciplining. They just made good choices. So, yeah, have fun, be fun. That's their love language. I try to ignore the tantrums, but they then pick her up after a little, I wouldn't do that. You know what you've just trained her to do. So you try to ignore them. So it might go for 5 minutes and then you give in. She's going to go for 50 minutes eventually. Like she knows if she goes long enough, you'll give in. If you're going to pick her up, you may as well do it right away. See what I mean? Like, because you're teaching her, if I keep going, I'll eventually get picked up. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. But it's up. I mean, you do whatever you want to do. I do understand kids. I understand parents too. I can remember because you're all doing the best you know how, right? You're just not necessarily experienced with kids. Parenting is the hardest job in the world with the least amount of training, and yet everyone expects you to be an expert, especially you. You know why they used to say parenting should just come naturally? There's a big reason for this. Back in the old days when they came, when I was little, back in the olden days with the dinosaurs and me, back then, there was like a community raising kids. There was like, not only were there grandparents, I had my grandmother living next door to me. And also all the neighbors, with all the moms were home all day and they knew all the kids and they all disciplined each other's kids. I saw you in there. You get your nose out of there. I'm going to call your mom. Then they'd call up Dorothy, your daughter. So everyone was kind of supporting each other. So it was different. Now parenting is very isolating and it's very judgmental too. Whereas back in the day, they were very quick to criticize their kids. It was just a pain in the butt all day long. Like there was no big deal of it. They go, yeah, so was mine. Oh, well, we all felt loved. We were all, like it was just the way it was. There was a whole community raising us when I was young. There was eyes on us everywhere. There's a whole bunch of stuff from my childhood that you guys wouldn't even understand. Like as soon as the lights would come on the street, all you'd hear was the parents yelling kids' names. Because the rule was you have to be home before the lights come on, like when it gets dark, before the street lamps come on. As soon as those street lamps came on, the kids who weren't home, all their parents were yelling their names. Lisa! So yeah, you wouldn't understand that, would you? Because you weren't out all day in the whole neighborhood probably. It's a different world now. So yeah, it's more isolating. That's why I think parents struggle more. My 18-month-old has tantrum every time he doesn't get what he wants. What's the best way to approach it? Let him learn on his own. He's 18 months. By the age of 16 months, that's when they're toddlers to me. 15 months and under, I still sort of consider a baby. It's a little bit different, but you're kind of easing into it. But by 18 months, if they don't get what they want, just say, well, no, you're not getting that. And then you ignore the tantrum. That's okay. They will eventually learn. You can use that soft aversion, that sort of indirect aversion. You can read one of their favorite books out loud to yourself, and it might divert their attention. I'm not huge on that, but at 18 months old, I do that at 15 months and under. Yes, that's what I do. If they're tantruming, I will get out a book or something, or I'll play with their favorite toy, blocks or something. Oh, this is really good. The book is actually a little bit better because it's calmer. If you get into play, they might come over and kick the blocks away, whereas it's harder for them to kick a book away. That's why I say the book. It's more calming. And okay, I asked about pull-ups at bed. He did good last night. I've got a question about that somewhere. Oh, I've got a note to myself to add that into my potty training course. Were you the one who bought the course and asked about that? It is in my notes. You'd think things would slow down over Christmas. This has been one of my busiest weeks. I don't know why. Oh, maybe because the kids are home. Anyway, so yeah, I've been super busy. Okay, I asked about the pull up at bed. He did good last night. My question is, how do I do the potty training outside when running errands? No pull ups, still right, just accept the accidents and change them. No, take the porta potty everywhere you go. I took that thing everywhere. And every time we'd stop, I'd say, okay, sit in here and try and go. And I was reading to him, or I had a little toy he was playing with. So yeah, that's what I did. I always had the porta potty with me, always. And I made sure if we were going out, he didn't have anything to drink. But when we were going home, he could have something to drink because we were going to be home soon. So yeah, I was always on call, always. Although I tell this funny story. What time is it? Oh shoot, I got to move over to TikTok. Sorry, I don't want to be late because I'm due on TikTok now. So if you want to join me over there, it's Bratbusters Parenting. Check the link above for my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp course, or you can hire me for coaching. If you want to join me on TikTok, that's where I'm headed. Sorry, YouTube, I'm just moving over. TikTok. Whoops. Oh, good. Sometimes I'm on the wrong channel when I do this. I have a personal channel on TikTok too. It's just me talking about fitness and cleaning. I love working out and cleaning. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. You asked more questions. This is, I'm just on YouTube here. If you're joining me on TikTok, this is YouTube. Okay, understand transitions. Somebody's in the situation. Example, this is a 6-year-old who doesn't do very well with transitions. If I allowed screen time for an hour at the end, even though I informed he threw tantrums. If I allowed screen time for an hour at the end, even though I informed he threw tantrums. I don't quite understand that. Sorry, I don't quite understand that. TikTok, why are you being so hard on TikTok? That's my big, hi, has anyone turned up yet? Yeah. Why does it look different? They've changed the way, is anyone on here on TikTok? It looks like there's 55. Oh, I lost my connection. Oh, yeah, TikTok. I've been having problems on TikTok lately. Oh, sugar. And I did everything they said to do to fix it. Darn it, it's not coming up. I'm going to shut down my live and start again. See if that works. Yeah, I've been having problems on the TikTok lives lately. That's why some people come over. I can't even tell people to go over to, it's not even ending. I can't even tell people to go over to YouTube because there's no one here. I'm freezing on TikTok. Just a sec. Darn, that's frustrating. I don't know what's going on. It's not me because all my other platforms are working. So it's not my computer or my phone. My live isn't working. What do I do? Oh, that's frustrating. Sorry, just give me a sec here. I'm just deleting everything on my phone. Okay, I'm gonna try maybe a couple more times, or else I'll just do YouTube. But I don't have a big enough audience on YouTube, but I should be able to answer all the questions, and that's good. Okay, I'm on the right channel. It's freezing. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to do a really quick video on TikTok explaining that my live isn't working. And then hopefully I can even do that. I don't know why. I'm completely freezing on TikTok. Sorry about that, YouTube. Doing my best. Yeah, it's even slow to come on now. Okay, I'll just do a quick video. No, won't even let me do videos. Why would that? No, it's frozen. Never happened before. And I hate that because I'm scheduled to come on and I hate being late. I'm like 5 minutes late. Okay, good. Okay. Woo. I got to keep moving so I can see if I'm, looks like it's, no one's turning up. Yeah, that's not right. Lost connection. Try switching Wi-Fi. Well, let me just see. I shouldn't make any difference here. Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. I'll try. Sorry, I got to switch my Wi-Fi. Sorry about this, YouTube. It's just technical glitches. But it says my Wi-Fi is down, but it's not because you're working. Okay, well, I'll try one more time and then I'm just going to give up. Okay, looks like it's not working. Oh, look, there's people turning up now. I've been trying to get on here. Unable to access live. Try again. Oh, for goodness sakes. End live. Why is that? Oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm very, like when I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm there and I'm trying. At least they saw me trying to get in there very briefly. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything. Well, what I might do, yeah, it's not letting me film. It's not even letting me do videos. That's never happened before. Okay, so what I'm going to do says live now. Does it? Thank you. But then my phone isn't showing it. Am I live on there now? I was live a minute ago. I get very stressed out if I'm late or if I let people down. Like I get very agitated. So I'm finding this really frustrating because I said I was going to be there and I'm not there. Are you still with me? Is anyone actually watching this agony? It's painful. Oh. Okay, now it's at least letting me in and it says go live. Resume live, resume. Looks like I've got people in here, but my phone, if you saw what's going on with my phone, I don't know what's going on. So I'm not even going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to go to YouTube because I've got a couple questions here. They might be shadow banning. I hear other creators talk about that happening on TikTok, shadow banning. Okay, I'm going to look that up later. Shadow banning. Yeah, I've noticed because I've got a pretty big channel on TikTok, and I've noticed a few things have happened because when you get bigger on a platform, people come after you. So I've had to do a few things actually. Maybe that's, I'm gonna have to look into it. What feature? Any of the plus features aren't working. Like if I hit plus, I can't do a video, I can't do a live. Like there's only 8 people on here. Obviously it's not working, something's going wrong. Anyway, if you are on my live on TikTok, it's glitching for the last week. I think actually someone's coming in here. Sorry, I had to cancel that. Yeah, it's glitching. So is anyone, can you restart? Yeah, I've tried. It's taken me 10 minutes to get here. So is it working? Or because I just read your Angelica, I just read your question on there, but no one else is asking. I can't see you. Can you see me and can you hear me? Sorry, got calls coming in too. Says live now. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, ask parenting questions, maybe see if I can just try and just go ahead as if it's working. I do think someone's come into my can't see you here, can't see you. Yeah, I think someone's doing something to my TikTok. I'm gonna have to investigate that. I think someone's got in here. Yeah, I've had a few problems in the last week. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing my best here. I'm having problems. I actually think someone might be trying to hack my TikTok because I've been having a lot of problems buffering. Yeah, I know. I've tried everything. It's not my internet. I think someone's come in here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm not the only one. I keep refreshing. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, by the way. I'm literally doing my YouTube live at the same time. If you want to transfer over to Bratbusters Parenting on YouTube, I'm just going to be answering those questions because I think someone has come in here. Yeah, all my lives work on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's just TikTok. I think something's happening in there. Can go over to YouTube. Yeah, check out YouTube. I'm on there. It's where I save all of my lives, and this one's a disaster because I can't. All I've been doing for the last 10 minutes is talking about how I can't get in there. And yeah, it's Bratbusters Parenting. Anyway, I'm gonna look on my YouTube, see if anyone's asking questions on there. Oh, it's so frustrating. Yeah, someone said YouTube has a feature you can use to promote your. I've got people working on my other platforms, and it's a time thing right now. Yeah, we're working on a whole bunch of different stuff. So, yeah, the thing is that I won't go into it, but from a business perspective, I've kind of got a lot. I've kind of got a lot right now going on with the audience I have. It's almost dangerous to grow more when you're already kind of at your capacity, because I thought that Christmas would calm down, but it's been one of my busiest weeks in my business. So I haven't even done any Christmas shopping yet. Okay, they must be shouting about it. Yeah, I think something's going on. So anyway, if you're on YouTube right now, ask questions. That's all I'm looking at because my TikTok is not working. So I've left it on. If you're on there, there's nothing I can do about it. I really think someone's come in and hacked it in some way. Because yeah, I've been having problems with it. So any questions on YouTube? If not, I'll just end the live. And I'm really sorry about. Got to go over to YouTube and ask questions. Yeah, yeah, it's bothering me. I'll figure it out. So you can't see me. Can you see me at all on TikTok? Can you hear me? And there's only 9 people here, so it's obviously frozen. I don't think. Yeah, because I usually get 100, 150. What feature? The feature is the live button. Anytime I go live in the last week, it's been glitching in the last week. It says live now. Yeah. So can you, yeah. Okay, go over to YouTube. That's where I'm answering questions. Okay, yes, you were starting to talk about potty training while on the road. That was one that I said when I potty trained my kids, I never used pull-ups and I never had night diapers on them. So, but I was very organized and I used the porta potty. I didn't go anywhere without that porta potty. We'd pull over to the side of the road and use it and, open up the car doors so people couldn't see. And, but yeah, I never used pull-ups or diapers because once you go back, actually I think at 63 years old, if I put diapers on myself, I might just sit here and pee myself. So it makes it too easy to not use the toilet. Okay, I might not pee myself, but you never know at my age. Okay. So you said we can't see or hear you. Oh, okay. I'm just going to try and stop it. Oh, now people are coming in. Advice. Okay. Can you hear me now? I've been having problems. If this is glitching for you, TikTok's glitching on me on lives now. So if you want to go over to YouTube, it's not glitching. So if you want to join me, Bratbusters Parenting on YouTube, that's where all my lives are saved. So, and I'm always on YouTube. If I'm doing a live on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, it's also on YouTube at the same time. So yeah, on TikTok we couldn't, yeah. I don't know. And the reason I look goofy is because I'm looking at my computer where I can see you, but my webcam is up there. Maybe I'll just move my webcam because I'm not doing. Yeah, that's a bit better because I'm not doing my TikTok now. So okay, hopefully other people will see that. So I'll do my best. Have you got any parenting questions on YouTube? If not, I'm all kerfuffled now because of this. So, but if you ask something about parenting, it might get me back in the zone again. Yeah, it's frustrating. Okay, if there's no parenting questions, I'll just end the live here. Thanks so much for holding on. I'm doing my best here. I'm thinking, Angelica. Because I've got another 15 minutes that I had set aside for this. So, by the way, this is kind of an offshoot. It's just an idea. Before Christmas, get a toy rotation system in place. So do it now before they get all their presents. And when they get those little toys and presents that they open up and go, oh, okay, and they throw it aside, grab it and put it away. They won't remember it. Pull it out in March when they're bored. So yeah, perfect time to set up a toy rotation system is right now, right before Christmas. So put away 90% of their stuff and grab that stuff that they just toss aside. Not the pajamas, they don't care about that anyway. Any advice for handling tasks, lifting, picking up diapers at 20 months due to rheumatoid arthritis? Oh, that's for you. I can't answer that. Those little grabbers, I'm sure you know all about that stuff. But yeah, if you've got arthritis and you're having a hard time lifting, picking up, I can't really help you with that. That would be more like physical therapy kind of advice, and I'm not qualified for that. Okay. Okay, you can end if you'd like. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, I'm flustered by this. It's bothering me because it's been happening for a week, and I'm worried that someone's got into my account now. And that's my big one. That's got like 600,000 followers, and someone could just go in and trash that. So yeah, I'm going to have to phone around tonight and get someone to help me. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I'm really sorry about this. Nothing I could do. And thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, take care. Happy parenting.